Multi-billion-dollar company can't offer $5,000. My boss, who is beloved by all and is one of the hardest working people I know, told me he will be leaving the company this week. This was a shock to all since he has said he plans on retiring with the company. I am thinking he is late 30s, early 40s right now. He has been an amazing mentor, worked up the ladder in a short period of time, and is liked by a majority of the people he works with. He easily puts over 50 HRS a week in, and I wouldn't be surprised if he has missed important family events due to putting work first, even though he encourages all to not do that. He got an offer from a reputable company for better benefits and a $5,000 raise. He brought this to our company expecting a pay match and something similar to the benefits, since they have flat out told him that he is a very valuable employee to the company. They didn't offer him any pay match and apparently nothing else that was anything but insulting. We are now losing a beloved manager who has done incredible work in the time he has been here, over $5,000. Our company has billion-dollar profits. I hope they are ready to lose more workers. Fuck this company and fuck capitalism. Don't worry American, working life is just as shitty in the UK. So there's been a lot of comparing countries to America with how much better they are. Time for Blighty to step in and pop the imperial bubble that a lot of people believe that the UK is the height of Western world. I've traveled a lot, and when I say I'm British they assume I'm some kind of millionaire. And although we have a high population density of millionaires, they're mostly Russian or friends of the Saudi prince. Most people on the UK are broke. Minimum wage is £9.50 an hour, but petrol/gas is now nearly £2 per litre. Also, if you work in schools, don't get paid holidays. The weeks I work are spread across the whole year, so now I get paid the equivalent of about £5 an hour. I'm in charge of the health and well-being of developing mids and people's most precious possessions, and I sometimes skip dinner to eat it as lunch to keep up appearance so no one worries, and it makes me dizzy when I teach. I'm afraid one day I'll pass out in front of the kids, or worse, on a kid. Why? All our fuel of heating our home was brought from Russia. Now we're being price gouged by Iran, and after what we did there, can you blame them? So every time I take a shower it also costs me around £2. Good old smart meters, meaning I can put a price on everything. In the middle of summer I'm paying around £3 per day just keeping the boiler going. Come winter we're in trouble because thanks to weather instability the weather is colder and more volatile than ever when you live on the edge of S giant ocean. We have free health care, but rich people use the same doctors and they just pay to go private again. Same doctors, they just go first. So you can go into hospital for an overnight operation and be there 5 days while people keep paying to jump the K, and there's nothing you can do about it. And yes, you can see a doctor for free, but you pay for them to treat you. Our health care that is mandatory to pay into, happy to do so if it actually worked, doesn't cover the medication a doctor prescribes you. So you can have the operation, but if you want to not get an infection afterwards, cough up. This wasn't always the case. The NHS used to be great before 10 years of Tories rule. Also, teeth aren't considered health anymore, so that's all out of our own pocket. Don't worry world, the British won't have bad teeth anymore, we just won't have any. I needed a filling, it was going to cost £180, they said they could pull it out for £40, I had the tooth removed. We don't have a conflict of interest rule when it comes to government, so a huge percentage of our MPs are landlords. Who refuse, surprisingly, to intervene in greedy landlords charging extortionate rent prices while also refusing or at least delaying building social housing. I currently pay £500 for a one-bedroom flat with mold, no bath, just a tap with hose for a shower, no windows in the kitchen, which is just a cornered off section of an old room. Put it this was, my flat is in a house which in the 50s was built for a family, it is now 4 flats. The going trend is to call them cozy or energy efficient. And amounts the highest rates of inflation we've ever known, high fuel prices, high rent prices, people are calling it a cost of living crisis to rival the Great Depression. Our kind and benevolent government put up council tax. So as well as paying £500 rent, £150 on bill, they're also £50 more on my council tax, bring that to nearly £200. I earn £1,000 as a licensed professional, who is part of the civil service. England is a fun place to be right now. I know these are first world problems and things could be a lot worse, and indeed America is a lot worse for workers' rights, but seeing my country change the way it has, depresses me. We used to care for our most vulnerable, and great people fought very hard to get rights for the poor and to elevate all to a higher standard of living. To see that decline is a shame. As one of the economic powerhouses like American, we should be leading by setting an example of humanism to other countries, but instead any wealth this country has is being squirreled away by millionaires on luxury goods other millionaires produce. The rich get richer and the poor get poorer. Trickle-down economics doesn't work. So Amatika, Blighty stands in solidarity with you as a country only held together by bravado, with a widening rich-poor divide. Who will eat them first? Edit. There are a lot of outdated ideas on here. It was the case that teaching staff had a set salary, but it got changed when schools were sold to private firms called trusts. Started happening about 10 years ago, how it's pretty much commonplace everywhere. I work for 40 weeks if the year, which I am paid for. There are 52 weeks in a year, so there are 12-week holiday. Very grateful of the holiday, but most if it is spent marking emailing and planning, but certainly during the summer 6 weeks it's great to have that break. But because I'm paid hourly, they don't pay us for non-contact time. So my 40 weeks of paid work is chopped up and spread across all 52 weeks of the year. So although I am paid all year round, it works out as less than minimum wage because of the way it is stretched out. If that makes sense? Please look it up. The more people that understand what's happening in school at the moment, the better. But that's how it works for education staff now without QTS status. Some people have said that this makes me not a teacher and I shouldn't complain, but HLTAs and TAs make up most of education staff in school now and do large amount of teaching, marking and planning. Especially these last couple of years with COVID, we've had absences between 20% and 60%, this whole time. And we can't close it, reduce our outgoings. Children are children and they need educating and caring regardless of how many teachers we have. Our rights and quality of life is being stripped from under us and people won't realize until it comes for them. Quit my job before the end of my 2 weeks notice. So I had a new job lined up that paid better than the one I had. It also has the option to do part-time if needed. I gave my 2 weeks notice and everything was going smoothly. On my last week at work, I get a text from my friend saying that they were graduating, PhD, and would love to have us, their friends, there as they don't have any family member to watch them graduate. Yes, it was a last-minute notice, but I'll be damned if I'd miss out on their graduation. I go to work the next day and ask one of the team leads if I could leave 1.5 hours before the end of my shift so I can make it to the graduation, and I provided them with solutions on making up the time I'll be missing, working late, coming into work early, only taking 30 minutes lunch. They go and ask the manager. Of course the manager say no, and that if I have any questions, I can talk to them about it. I was livid. I went and talked to the manager. They said I don't have any sick time left to let me leave early. Okay, fair, but I gave you so many options to make up the time. Then they said it's cause I'm leaving soon and that they need me for those 1.5 hours. Mind you, it's a call center, but I only make calls. I don't receive any, so it's all based on how much work I get done. Then they dare to say that if it was so important, it would have been brought up earlier. I told them I only knew about it the night before. When I asked if I could just do 30 minutes lunches to make up for the time, they right away dismissed it and said that they don't want people to get in the habit of taking 30 minutes lunches to leave early. So said thank you and left their office. 30 minutes before the time I asked to leave early, I walked into the office of one of the team leads and told them I was leaving in 30 minutes and that today will be my last day. Shit felt amazing, and it was a big fuck you to them cause they needed me for those days, as only me and another person are in charge of a certain department. That manager thought that I was just going to bend over and take it. Never put work over your personal life cause to corporations. You're just a number that they can replace. Just blew up on my boss. Found out a kid that works with me makes almost twice as much for the same job. And he's been working here less than half the time I have. Fuming. That's the only word I have right now. On top of that, our boss has been telling him not to discuss pay. And when it was discussed today, my co-worker was scolded for it. Fuck working in America. For the curious, I don't make a lot of money. Some is salary, some is commission. Yearly I'm around 34K. My managers talked about writing me up as overtime isn't allowed after they forced me to stay late by 20 minutes. So my husband just started working in the same company as me yesterday. I'm a cashier but work in other departments as well as I'm needed. Well, about 2 days ago they were helping a person with a order, and due to the customer wanting a receipt without paying so she could show her employer cost of buying 800 fishing poles. My manager then came over to help and put my register in training mode. We ended up just printing a slip, but he tried to get that slip and struggled doing that for going on half an hour and caused issues for customers as no one was able to buy any tobacco for half an hour due to me being the only register in the store that could sell it. Plus by the time we finished I was supposed to go home. I reminded my manager he needed to get me my replacements so I could leave, as they had again put me on the only register in the store I couldn't just up and leave from, as it's the only one that sells cigarettes and the like. I was told no, as now there was a massive line for people who needed tobacco products and my replacement was running late / not even here. I ended up 20 minutes late getting off work and therefore got 20 minutes overtime despite there being a giant red lettered sign over the time clock saying no overtime. Well, today was my day off but not my husband's, and when he went to work the managers were stupid enough to talk in front of him about how they should write me up for getting overtime, as I knew it wasn't allowed right now when I flat out got told no to leaving, and even when I did leave 20 minutes late they were salty about me leaving and they now want to write me up for getting overtime. Fuck them. I hate Walmart. Absolute garbage employers.